Welcome to a Wayne County Bicentennial Minute in celebration of Wayne County, New York's unique history, which spans 200 years and is historic to the core. Ontario Iron Ore Mining, narrated by Bruce Farrington. Ontario was one of the two locations of the iron industry in Wayne County. Iron was discovered in Ontario by a Mr. Knickerbocker in 1811 while he was digging a well to water his cattle. Little attention was paid at first. 4 or 5 years later, Samuel Smith built a forge and began the making of iron. By steady work, Mr. Smith was able to produce 400 pounds daily. Smith's forge was followed by two others. In 1835, the first furnace was built with a capacity of 3 or 4 tons daily. Another furnace with larger capacity, equal to 6 or 7 tons daily, was built by the Clinton Iron Company in 1840. An extensive business was carried on by the company until its destruction by fire in 1867. In the early days, the ore was hauled by horse and wagon to Bear Creek Harbor on Lake Ontario and loaded on ships bound for Charlotte. The roads along this route gradually turned red from the iron ore, and neighboring villagers could always identify a person from Ontario because of the red on his boots, wagon wheels, and even his mustache. In 1870, the Ontario Iron Company erected a furnace which was forced to suspend operations after a few years. The real boom in the making of iron was in 1880 when the Furnaceville Iron Company constructed a $200,000 furnace in Furnaceville. For the next 17 years, Ontario became a mining town, and the product was sold for mill and foundry iron. It took 2.25 tons of the ore to produce 1 ton of iron. The little hamlet of Furnaceville was so named because of the location of the furnace there. The glow of its blast furnaces lighted up the evening skies. Workers made their home there, houses sprang up, and the population increased. The manufacture of iron continued until about 1918, progressing from the crude shovel and wheelbarrow days to the steam shovel era in the 1880s. At its peak, the mine and blast furnaces employed over 200 people at a time, including many Irish, Dutch, Belgian, and Italian immigrants. Before the iron mines completely closed down, iron ore was sent by railroad spur to the paint mill, where the ore was ground into a powder and shipped all over the world to be mixed with linseed oil and made into red barn paint. Eventually, the competition from the mines of the Mesabi Range in Minnesota made the process of mining iron ore in Wayne County impractical and expensive. The Minnesota mines had superior ore in greater quantity, better transportation, and accessibility to coal fields, so the beds in Wayne County became idle. While Ontario's iron ore mining has long disappeared, it has left a legacy for future generations. The abandoned iron ore bed is a narrow waterway now located at Casey Park and is perfect for canoes and kayaks. Hiking along the southern and northern shores begins at the swimming area and is about 1 mile long.
Iron ore, iron ore, iron ore, iron ore. Well, way back home in Finland before the Russians were beat back, my great-granddad dreamed of freedom because home was way out of whack. He heard of a land with citizens not subjects to the Russian Tsar. No money in his pocket, the man set out onto a journey far. The trek was not an easy one, crossing the big ocean, driven only by Sisu, that's the grit that lies within. Couldn't settle on the East Coast, gotta stick with what you know.